Welcome, high school football fans, to the Central Indiana Sports Report for our Week 7 Central Indiana High School football previews and predictions. Normally with Michelle Garmon of the Tipton Tribune and Elwood Call Leader. She is out covering tennis tonight, so filling in is our contest leader, Kevin Helfrich of the Action Sports Network, and Grant Shouse, who is here most weeks as well. Welcome, guys.
Thanks for having
me.
So the three of us and Michelle and several others are taking part in a media prediction competition, with each game being worth 10 points, with the favorite being worth fewer points, the underdog worth more. So it's, if you're willing to take the risk, it's worth more points. And in week 6, the results were Kyle Neddenrip of the Indianapolis Star with 102 points. Whew. 10 more than Michelle Garmon, who scored 92. And she was 3 points ahead of Kevin Helfrich, who was third last week. Well done, Kevin.
Thank you.
Daniel Bragg of Bragg Sports Media had 86. Cade Hampton of the Muncie Star Press and Jay Stevens of the Kokomo Post both scored 80. The standings through 6 weeks, Kevin Helfrich still in the lead. He had really big weeks 4, 5, and 6. He has 534 points, just 6 ahead of Kyle Neddenrip and 24 ahead of Michelle Garmon. The rest of us are pretty far behind. Elijah Poe of the Ball State Daily News and our IndyCar guy has 496. Daniel Bragg 490. Jay Stevens 475. Grant Shouse 471. I, your fearless host, Greg Mengelt 469. And Sam Frick of ANEC Sports is last with 454, which makes total sense because he's in Fort Wayne and he's picking Central Indiana games. And he still almost has as many points as I do, which is really sad. I'm really embarrassed about that, guys.
You've been bringing up the rear most weeks.
And I'm winning the college football and the NFL games, except for Susie is 1 point ahead of me in the NFL. And I take way more pride in my high school predictions. I used to do this contest when I was at the News and Tribune in Jeffersonville and New Albany in the newspaper, and I used to win all the time, and I'm embarrassed that I'm in last.
This is Elwood. This isn't Henryville. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I kind of started at the bottom. Now I'm at the top, so there's hope.
That's right. You did, but we're running out of time. As I said, each game is worth 10 points, and we start with the games where one team is worth 9 and the other is worth 1. We expect these games to be the least competitive, and we have 4 of those such games. One of those is 0-6 Blackford at 3-3 Oak Hill. Blackford worth 1, Oak Hill worth 3. 1-4 Phelan Academy worth 9. They go to Greentown to face the 5-1 Eastern Comets, which filled its hole in the schedule left by Tri-Central dropping its varsity program with Phelan Academy. And 3-3 Shelbyville is at 6-0 and Class 5A number 1 New Pal. The Dragons going for their 4th straight conference championship and their 23rd overall. Guys, I assume you're taking Oak Hill, Eastern, and New Pal. Tell me if I'm wrong.
You're not wrong. I'm going to be taking all 3 of them.
Likewise, taking all 3.
And then we go to our 4th game that is one team worth 9 and the other 1. 2-4 Elwood, which has had a bit of a resurgence of a season. Still don't expect them to be much of a contest to Class 3A number 4 Mississinawa, which is 6-0 overall and going for their 3rd straight CIC championship, their 7th of all time. And this is the game that Grant and Kevin are covering. Guys, your thoughts on this one going in?
One of those where there's no secret. It's a lot. It's really lopsided on paper. There's really no other way to put it. Mississauga is a really good team. On their depth chart, this is something to kind of keep an eye on their depth chart for Friday, is that Elijah Monday is not listed on the depth chart. I reached out to their coach, Jeremy Lochner, today to figure out he was hurt or what the deal was. And, when you're running back like Elijah Monday, already over 700 yards on the season, you're getting tackled in almost every play. You're going to get banged up. So I don't know if he will be available for Friday or not. It may be one of those game time decision things. But that is something to look out for. Dave Schwartz is back in the quarterback spot for Mississippi, so that'll be something to keep an eye on. As for Elwood, don't really know much about them because they don't post any stats. Mississippi is going to be significantly favored, especially on paper. So definitely we'll have to be taking Mississippi in this game on Friday.
Well, if Monday is truly out on Friday, it does become a little bit more interesting as he's a two-way player and he plays in that linebacker position as well. So not saying that that's going to be enough for Elwood to overtake the Indians because I think the Indians defense is just too good.
And we're joined now by Michelle Garmon of the Tipton Tribune and Elwood Call Leader. And Michelle, I assume that you'll be taking New Pal, Eastern, Oak Hill, and Mississippi as well. Move to the 6 games in the area where I have one team worth 8 and the other team worth 2. The underdog will be worth 8 points. And in our first game, that is Alexandria at Frankton. Alexandria is 4-2. Frankton is 0-6. Anybody want the Eagles?
No.
Another game where one team is worth 8, the other 2. We have Muncie Central at Anderson. Muncie Central in a resurgent season is 3-3. Anderson is 1-5. Who's taking the Indians?
Love you, Shane, but
I will not.
I'm not going to pick you this week.
No way.
And in the NCC game of the week, and probably maybe the game of the year, Class A number 4, Lafayette Jeff is at Kokomo. Lafayette Jeff is on the verge of its set of back-to-back NCC titles and its 24th in program history. The Broncos have won 9 straight in the series. Anybody want Kokomo?
I would have been tempted to take Kokomo in this game had Caleb Small been there more than this wasn't his first year. So it's his second year, just because that offense is going to become more diversified. And I believe he's going to put Kokomo as a really good program, but they're not there yet. So Lafayette Jeff.
We're going to see Lafayette Jeff next Friday against Marion. And I saw them last year against Marion when the game was at Marion, and just the way they run their offense, they're so quick to the line. They're a really, really good 5A football team. Maybe probably not better than New Pal, but just they're so efficient in the way they move the ball. They're very well coached. I'm going to be taking Lafayette Jeff as well.
And I'm not fooled by the lopsided Kokomo win over Marion and bad very defense. I'll take Lafayette Jeff all day long.
2-4 Clinton Central is at 3-2 Carroll. The Cougars are ranked 11th in Class A. Carroll had a bye week last week because of the Tri-Central situation. They are still in the HHC race after a 28-27 loss to Eastern, the last game they played 2 weeks ago. It's Sheridan 3-0, Eastern 3-1, Carroll 2-1, and Clinton Prairie 2-1. Anybody think the Bulldogs can pull the upset of Carroll?
No. No.
Nope. Not here.
3-3 Northwestern goes to 1-5 Wabash. I have Wabash worth 8, Northwestern worth 2. Northwestern won the first meeting ever between the two teams last year, 40-6. Anybody want Wabash?
No.
I just remember the Wabashes that Tipton used to just spank.
We look forward to Wabash week. And our last game where one team is worth 8 and the other is 2. This is one that I almost made 7-3. It's 3-3 Delta at 5-1 Pendleton Heights. Delta beat Pendleton Heights 27-26 last year and leads the all-time series 32-24, but Pendleton Heights has been great this year. 5-1 for the first time since going 8-2 in 2002 under John Broughton. Anybody think Delta's worth taking 4 times the amount of points?
Yeah, I think it's pretty tempting to take Delta because that's one of those you put on the paper and you're like, man, it'd be It'd be something like Delta to win a game like that, but let's stick with Pendleton Heights on this one. I don't think I want to risk losing points by taking Delta, although I think it probably could be a good game.
Hey, Pendleton Heights is the second best team in that conference behind New Pal, and I don't think this game is going to be close.
I like Pendleton Heights as well.
I think eventually Delta is going to become that program again that's at the top of that conference, but it isn't right now. 10 games where one team is worth 7, the other worth 3, so just over double the amount of points. It'll be tempting if you think a team can win a game, and we start in the Hoosier Conference where 2-4 West Lafayette is at 5-1 Logansport, coming off its first loss of the season last week to Hamilton Heights, 22-14. Still has a chance to tie for the Hoosier Conference Big School Division with a win this week. Let's start with Michelle. Red Devils or Berries?
The Berries. The Red Devils, once upon a time, I would have been the team to pick, but those days are gone, and I think it's going to be a very motivated and angry Logansport team that takes the field at their place. So, yes, I believe it will be Logansport.
I will also be taking Logansport because when you play your home games at a place called the Berry Pats, that's hard to pass up on how cool that name is. So I'm going to take Logansport to win at the Berry Pats on Friday night. And their last home game of the year, by the way.
Give me the Berries as well.
I think I've forgotten to make some picks. I've taken all the favorites so far as well. Staying in the Hoosier Conference, 5-1 Western is ranked 13th in Class 3A after not winning a game last year. They go to Tippecanoe Valley, which is 4-2. Tippecanoe Valley won the game last year. The series is 2-2 all time. And Sagarin says only Western by 4. Anybody tempted to take the Vikings?
No, I'm really not. Maybe if it was the Tippy Valley team of 2 years ago that was really, really good. I'm not saying they're not really good, but that team was undefeated at this point. Western, Austin Colby is a sensational coach. They're back doing what they want to do. They have one of the best running backs, I think, in this area. A lot of seniors, and Coach Toll say they had 19 seniors, big boys. Their experience is going to be the Panthers.
It's very tempting to take Tippy Valley. I think that'd be a really good football game on Friday night, but just for the heck of it, because they're one of our schools, I'm going to take Western to knock off Tippy Valley.
Yeah, Valley can be a tough place to play, but I like the Panthers in this one. Too much of the run game.
I think because it's more than twice the points and I'm way behind, I'm going to take Tippecanoe Valley. They play really good defense. That means they are capable of pulling off an upset. In the Three Rivers Conference, 4-2 Lewis Cass has dominated their all-time series with Mechaniquah. But this year, Mechaniquah is 6-0, ranked 6th in Class 3A, and is the defending Three Rivers Conference championship. Cass leads the all-time series 43-15. Michelle, Mechaniquah has had a couple of tough ones of late. Well, can Cass pull off the upset?
That's a rivalry, and if Cass was playing that game at home, I might be tempted to take the Kings because that is they're really pretty good, especially in close games on their own home field. But this game is at Mechaniquah, and I just think offensively they have a little bit more. So I'm going to take Mechaniquah.
I'm going to take Mechaniquah too, and I'm going to take them by over 14 points on Friday night. I don't know how much of a game it'll be, because Mechaniquah is just such a juggernaut on both sides of the ball. They have kind of struggled in the previous week, but I expect them to kind of break this one open on Friday night. I'm taking the Braves.
I'm not so sure Mechaniquah as good as their ranking is, although I still like them to win this one. I think it'll be closer than some people think.
I completely agree with that. I was tempted to take Cass. Give me Mechaniquah. As I mentioned a little earlier, Sheridan is the only unbeaten team in the Hoosier Heartland. The Blackhawks are 4-1 overall. They host Delphi, which is Sheridan has won 3 in a row over Delphi. This is a great all-time series. Of course, 2 great programs going back through the years. Sheridan leads the all-time series going back to 1948, 19-16. Anybody want the Oracles in the upset, Michelle?
Sheridan. Definitely Sheridan.
I'm also going to be taking Sheridan.
I think I've learned my lesson picking against Sheridan. I'll take Sheridan.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Kevin. I think I've lost 4 times this year picking against Sheridan. I'm not doing it again this time. Milan, I made worth 7 points. They are at Eastern Hancock, which is worth 3. Milan's won 3 straight games in the series, including 8-0 last year. But Eastern Hancock is the favorite according to Sagarin by 6 points. Anybody want to take Milan?
If the game was at Milan, I would be very tempted because of the trip and everything. But actually, and if Eastern Hancock wins this week, Coach, you can be mad at me. You won. I've been picking against you. You've been winning. I do think the Royals have it this week.
Yeah, I'm going to pick Eastern Hancock as well. I don't know. Milan's got another miracle in him. I'm going to take Eastern Hancock.
I love it.
This isn't basketball, so I'm going to go with Eastern Hancock in this one. No Milan miracle this week.
Kevin, even if it was basketball, I'd still probably take Eastern Hancock.
We'll make it a sweep. Eastern Hancock across the board. Staying in Hancock County, 3-3 Greenfield Central is at 5-1 Yorktown. Yorktown ranked 12th in Class 4A. Yorktown won 21-7 last year, but the series has alternated every year going back to 2016 and 17. The last time either team won back-to-back games in the series, that was Yorktown. So that means it's Greenfield Central's turn. Anybody want to take the Cougars?
I was going to take Greenfield Central. They beat 0-6 Greensburg by 13. They beat 0-6 Mount Vernon by 3. And they beat 3-3 Shelbyville by 1 in overtime for their 3 win. Kevin's going to say it here, but Yorktown's really balanced on offense with Lou Zatter moving in and all that. I'm taking Yorktown.
Yeah, I like the Tigers. Tokar, quarterback, completes about 70% of his passes or 10 touchdowns. And then, like I said, Lou Zatter in the backfield. That's the Tigers all night long.
It's a Yorktown sweep. Also, once again, getting Cathedral worth 7 points. Man, they play a tough schedule, don't they? They are 4-2 and ranked 3rd in Class 5A. They go to a number 2 Center Grove, which is unbeaten. Last year, Cathedral won a 49-45 thriller by outscoring Center Grove 14-0 in the 4th quarter. Michelle, can the Irish do it again?
Not this year. This game has traditionally been very close, exciting game. I just don't think Cathedral has the offensive firepower to hang with Center Grove this year. That's what they seem to be lacking. So, no, Center Grove.
I don't know. Kevin and I can tell you that they are, maybe besides Brownsburg, the second best team in the state of Indiana, arguably the best. They just have athletes all across the board. And so does Cathedral, don't get me wrong. But the game being at Center Grove, I'm going to take Center Grove. And whoever is calling the game on Friday, I can tell you, if you're somehow listening to this, you will not find a better press box.
Yeah, Center Grove is the most complete team I've seen all season long. I mean, don't have a weakness that I can see. I like them at home.
Yep, Center Grove. 3-3 Zionsville's were 7 points at number 1 Brownsburg. Zionsville off an impressive win last week, but Brownsburg's won 4 straight in the series and now leads the all-time series 14-13 over Zionsville. Anybody want the Eagles over Brownsburg?
No. Zionsville's getting better.
Yes, they are.
They are. Shout out to those fantasy boys. I think Hank has been having really good games here.
I think they might be a top 10 team, Zionsville.
Yeah.
It's still only going to get them 4 or 5 wins.
I know. It's just their schedule. Brownsburg got a little bit of a scare last week, which was probably really good for them. I don't think Zionsville can surprise them this week.
Staying in the Hoosier Crossroads, Noblesville is 1-5 at 3-3 and 13th ranked. Hamilton Southeastern, I have Noblesville worth 7. The Royals worth 3. Hamilton Southeastern leads the all-time series 33-7, including 6 in a row. Michelle, could Noblesville in that?
No, Noblesville is not very good this year. Hamilton Southeastern is going to win this one because they're going to be angry too because they didn't like losing to Zionsville last week.
I will also be taking Hamilton Southeastern to snap a 3-game losing streak.
I like the Royals as well.
And our final game where one team is worth 3 and the other 7, it is 5-1 and third-ranked Carmel going to 1-5 Ben Davis. Ben Davis won 58-38 last year to take a 26-25 lead in the all-time series, including 24-23 in the regular season. Ben Davis beat Carmel 42-24 in the 2014 state championship game. The two teams have 19 combined state champions. Anybody not taking Carmel?
No, go Anthony and Drake Colner.
No, one of my college roommates is actually the principal at Carmel, and he led the parade last week in an all-out full football jersey. So no, all Carmel.
He looked really cool in that too.
By the way, earlier Grant said that Center Grove and Brownsburg are the two best teams. I think if any team will dispute that, it might be Carmel.
Yes, I will also be taking Carmel.
We have 6 games where one team is worth 6 and the other is worth 4. Now, we do have 5 of those games in our games to watch, including our game of the week, which will be coming up later. But before that, we get to that, we have 6 of them. 3-2 Clinton Prairie at 4-2 Taylor. Clinton Prairie is 11-0 all-time versus Taylor. Michelle, can the Titans finally beat the Gophers?
This is the one that I've all week, or since I've gotten that, I've been like, I can see a scenario each way. I'm going to take Taylor with Javion Harris and everything. The Gophers have had a good have had good programs, but they haven't been maybe as complete as like Eastern and Sheridan and Carroll. So, Taylor.
I'll also be taking the Titans to beat Clinton Prairie. It could be a decent game.
I like Taylor as well.
I'm the lone wolf. I'm taking Clinton Prairie and the 6 points with me. I think they're the better complete team. By the way, Javion Harris, second in the state in touchdowns so far this season, rushing, and he is a quarterback, so that's impressive.
Yeah, I guess Prairie just doesn't have that same defense as the other 3 contenders do.
2-3 Westdell is at 4-2 Park Tudor. I have Westdell worth 6. Park Tudor worth 4. Westdell did beat the Panthers 72-45 last year. Anybody want the Warriors in the upset?
I think Park Tudor got it handed to him last week by Eastern Hancock. However, I don't know that Westdell is quite to Eastern Hancock's standards yet. So I'll take Park Tudor, but I do think this one could be close.
Grant, Kevin, either one of you taking Westdell? I'm going to go ahead and take Westdell.
I'm taking Park Tudor.
I'm also taking Park Tudor.
0-6 Mount Vernon is at 1-5 Newcastle. I have Mount Vernon worth 6, Newcastle worth 4, Michelle.
Do not know what has happened to Mount Vernon. There have been years that you'd be silly to go against the Marauders, but oh man, they've been bad this year. So they're winless, correct? Newcastle has 1. What I'm going to do, I picked Mount Vernon. They've gotten beat, but they're due to win this year. I just don't think that's a winless football team. So if they're going to get one, I say it's this week against Newcastle. So I'll go with Mount Vernon.
I'm taking Newcastle, man. Got family down there right now that's dealing with an unfortunate situation with my aunt, and I'm going to take the hometown Newcastle Trojans to hold out on Friday night.
I agree with Michelle. I think this is a game that Mount Vernon breaks out of it and gets a win. 2 more struggling teams. We have 1-5 Richmond at 1-5 Marion. I have Richmond worth 6. We'll start with the guys from Grant County. Anybody want to take the Red Devils in the upset?
Too, but I was at that game with Grant last year down there, and Richmond's defense was even worse than what Marion's is. This is going to be a high-scoring game. I think it was the highest scoring in the game in the state to the point last year, but I'll take Marion at home. Too much Tim Jones.
This is one I decided I was going to take Marion. I'm disenchanted with Marion. I can't believe that you can't have a stud like Tim Jones and can't win.
They have some good players, but not a very good team. I'm still going to take Marion.
I'm taking Richmond.
And a big one in the Hoosier Crossroads. I have 4-2 Franklin Central. We're 6 at 4-2 Fishers. The Tigers are ranked 8th in Class 6A. Franklin Central won last year, beating Fishers for the first time ever, 22-13. Does it happen again, Michelle?
Oh, no, the game's at Fishers. I'll take the Tigers.
I'm on the Fishers bandwagon as well.
Give me Fishers. And our final game, until we get to our games to watch, that's worth one team worth 6, the other 4. I have Lapel worth 4 at Heritage Christian worth 6. Lapel were ranked 3rd in Class 2A. Heritage Christian ranked 13th in Class 2A. These two teams have played each other 26 times. I had no idea. The Eagles lead the all-time series 16-10, including 40-21 last year. Michelle, can Heritage Christian give Lapel its first loss?
They're probably capable of it. It's Heritage Christian's homecoming. Devin Craig he's just such a heady quarterback, and I'll take him.
I will be taking the Bulldogs in this one. We've been talking about them all year. They're a good team. They play a good schedule. I'm going to take the Bulldogs to beat Heritage Christian on the road.
I like Lapel as well.
Yeah, me too. And we have 2 games where I believe that it's 50-50. 4-2 Shenandoah is at 6-0 Northeastern. Northeastern won 42-20 last year, but Shenandoah leads the all-time series 42-20. Northeastern won 15 regular season games. Does it come to an end this week?
This was the other one. I thought, you get that. And these are the ones I know that are supposed to be tough. And gosh, I think Shenandoah can be capable of it. But, Northeastern's feeling pretty good about themselves. I'll take Northeastern.
I'm taking Northeastern as well, Greg. I cannot pick the Raiders, knowing some of the alumni that have come through that building.
That's right.
Make that 3 for Northeastern.
Despite its alumni, I am taking Shenandoah. It's an inside joke, everybody. Don't worry about it. We love you, Shenandoah. 3-3, Guerin Catholic is at 1-5 Pike. Pike won last year 42-3. The first ever meeting between the two schools. I have both teams worth 5. Who are you taking, Michelle?
It's tempting to take Guerin because they have the better record, but I saw some highlights that a coach put on of a couple Pike players from last week's game, and by golly, they got some speed. I'm going to take the Pike Red Devils.
I'm taking Guerin.
Too many athletes, Pike all the way.
Yeah, I believe this is a Pike victory. All right, guys, we have actually 7 games to watch this week. We have a bonus game to watch, a game that is not in our coverage area, but I thought I'd throw it in there because it's a really good one. Then 5 games to watch in our game of the week. All of them, one team worth 6 and the other one worth 4. And we start with our bonus game, 5-1 Warren Central, 5-1 Lawrence North in Lawrence. The Wildcats rank 7th. The Warriors rank 9th. Anybody want Warren Central and 6 points, Michelle?
This is a tempting one to get it, but since I'm right now, I've been doing pretty well and I don't need to take gambles. I think because the game is being played at Lawrence North, again, I know it's Indianapolis area and they don't have far to travel. Home field sometimes does matter when you have 2 good teams playing each other, and both of these teams have some outstanding individual players on them. But I'm going to stay with Lawrence North. I'll take the Wildcats.
I'm taking Lawrence.
I'm taking Lawrence North as well in this one.
Give me Warren Central. I can't think of Lawrence North and Warren Central without thinking Warren Central by 35 points, just because in my mind, Warren Central is always good and Lawrence North usually isn't. Just can't get over it. All right, 5 games to watch. 1-5 Lafayette Central Catholic at 3-3 Tipton. I have Central Catholic worth 6, Tipton worth 4. Michelle.
Blue Devils all the way.
I'll be taking Tipton. Really, my mind was telling me Lafayette Central Catholic at first, but just looking at who they played, they were dominated by Rensselaer Central last week. They lost in a close one to West Lafayette, got blown out by Twin Lake, blown out by Logansport. A solid Ritter program, 14-0, but they just haven't done anything. They haven't moved the needle at all. So I'm taking Tipton Friday.
In honor of Michelle, I'm going to take her Tipton Blue Devils.
Make it a sweep, but I think it's going to be closer than Michelle thinks it's going to be.
Well, I don't think it's going to be a wrap, but I do think it's in the blue.
Day number 6, Westfield is at 6A, number 11, Avon, in a really good one in the Hoosier Crossroads. Sagarin has Westfield favored by a point. I have Westfield worth 4, Avon worth 6. Anyone want the bonus points on the Orioles?
That is so tempting. Because
I'll take. I've rode them a couple times this year. They've hurt me and they've helped me. I'm going to.
yeah, they're at home too, Kevin, and they've been really good at home against the really good teams.
They can score a lot of points too.
Yes, they can. But I think Westfield showed getting the players they got back last week against Brownsburg. They were able to shut them down a little bit. I think if Westfield was missing those players, I'd probably be really tempted to take Avon. Not as tempted, so I'm going with the Shamrocks.
I'm taking Westfield. I can't stand Avon because of what happened at the Cheesecake Factory.
The Cheesecake Factory penalty goes against the Orioles. Give me Westfield. I think there's a level, and I think Westfield is at the top one. I think Avon's at the very top of the second level. Another Hamilton County game in our games to watch. It is 2-4 Hamilton Heights, fresh off its win over previously unbeaten Logansport at 5-1 and 10th ranked Twin Lakes. Anybody want Hamilton Heights in the upset? I have the Huskies for 6.
I'll be sticking with Twin Lakes.
Twin
Lakes. Hamilton Heights in a close one.
Yeah, I want to take Twin Lakes because it's at Twin Lakes, and I saw, well, Greg did too. We saw firsthand how good Coach O'Shea's passing offense is. Heights can win, but they are going to have to be able to get pressure on the quarterback because if he's got too many weapons, if he has time to throw, he'll complete it.
Michelle, last week I finally picked against Hamilton Heights and they won. I'm going to take Hamilton Heights again in the upset over Twin Lakes. I think this is a good Hamilton Heights team, and last week they showed it with a big win, although their scores had shown it recently that they were competing with good teams. That was a big win for them last week. 2 games to watch in Boone County this week, both likely big factors in conference championships. 4-2 Western Boone at 6-0 Southmont. Both teams are 4-0 in the new Monon Conference, as is Cascade. That conference to be decided in the next couple of weeks, guys. I have Western Boone worth 6 on the road at Southmont. Michelle.
I'm taking the Stars. Western Boone seems to be on a really good roll right now, and it's been a good football program for the last few years. Give me the Stars.
I'm taking Western Boone as well.
I like Southmont.
I'm going to take Western Boone. I have a feeling I might regret it, but I'm going to take Western Boone. And in the Sagamore Conference, likely for the conference championship, there's only 4 teams in the conference now. Before next year, they regroup and have an 8-team conference again. Lebanon is 5-1 and has won 5 in a row, clinches at least a share of the conference championship with a win at Danville, which is 3-3. But don't be fooled. That is a very good 3-3. It's their Sagamore Conference opener. I have Lebanon worth 4, Danville worth 6 at home, Michelle.
Lebanon. They're a good football team, and they find ways to win.
I'll be sticking with your dad's hometown, Greg. I'll take the Lebanon Tigers.
That's right. Tom and Nancy, what's up?
Now that my second cousin graduated last year off that Danville team, I'm going to take Lebanon.
And it is a Lebanon sweep. And our game of the week is in Grant County. Of course, the county named after Grant Shouse. And it is, no?
That is far from.
Okay. Well, I just assumed, since you were from there and it's called that it was named after you.
He was named after it.
And the game of the week is 5-1 and Class A number 7 Madison Grant at 6-0 and Class 2A number 5 Eastbrook. At Madison Grant were 6. Eastbrook, my pick to win the CIC before the season. I have them worth 4. Madison Grant still in the CIC race. They would have to beat in back-to-back weeks Eastbrook, Alexandria, and Mississinawa. Eastbrook, of course, if they can handle Madison Grant, would set up a big game with Mississinawa next week for the conference championship. Michelle, Let's start with you, and then we'll talk to the two guys from Grant County. Who you taking?
Eastbrook. Greg, you told me early that Eastbrook was going to win the CIC. I wasn't sure at that time, but I think each week what I see Coach Adamson's team do, that you're right. I think that Eastbrook may be the most complete team in the CIC right now. It's going to be the Panthers.
I will say before we get your guys' picks, Mrs. Sinawal's been better than I expected, and I will not be surprised if Mrs. Sinawal wins that game. Grant.
Yeah, I'm going to be taking Eastbrook here. Madison Grant still is really good. You're 5-1. They kind of had a little hiccup against Oak Hill, but they beat Elwood and Frankton in back-to-back weeks. But the thing is Eastbrook beat Blackford and Elwood in back-to-back weeks. So both these teams really for the last couple of weeks haven't been really challenged coming into this one. I think it'll be a really good game. Could come down to, I think it's going to come down to late in the fourth quarter, but I'm going to stick with Eastbrook. They're at home. They've only played one home game prior to this year so far. They finished out the year with the Grant Forest schools at home. I like the Panthers to win on Friday night over Madison Grant.
I don't think Madison Grant is nearly as good as they were last year. I know they have a good record, but on that schedule, they really beaten. Eastbrook's went up to Fort Wayne Concordia and just destroyed them up there. I like the Panthers, and I don't think it'll be all that close.
I agree, Kevin. I don't think it's going to be. I think it's maybe 3 touchdowns at least.
I will say this. If O.J. Blackwell starts to get the hang of quarterback and starts to figure things out, that could be a very dangerous offense. And I think in the end, Madison Grant might be our last local team playing. I think they might be in for a long postseason run.
Well, I thought that last year, though, and then South Adams just threw the ball all over the field because we hadn't seen that all year long. So I'm not so sold on that yet.
I agree with you, Kevin. I've been thinking Madison Grant for the last 2-3 years. But you know what? A lot of times you win those with a team that is not supposed to get there.
I'm telling you now, this is going to be a Madison Grant team that's playing in November. Just saying. Just take it to the bank. Michelle, Grant, and Kevin, thank you so much. Final thoughts, starting with you, Michelle.
Oh, here we are, week 7. The tournament draw is a week from Sunday. Coaches now, they're starting to get their teams ready and tuned up for when the postseason starts. It's an exciting time of year for high school football. It's also the time of year when illness and injuries can sneak up on you. It's just hard to believe. I think that the first 6 weeks just flew by, Greg.
I know, it's crazy. It's almost basketball season, Grant.
I know. Yeah, tonight I was getting the basketball itch. I'm not gonna lie, got me back into football mode. It's crazy how this, like Michelle was saying, how fast this season's gone. It's been a really fun season, I think, but it's gone really quick. And Kevin and I are going to see Mississippi and Elwood on Friday. Again, it's going to be one of those games where the expectation going in is that it's going to be pretty light on paper, but the thing is the game's played on grass and not paper. So it'll be interesting. We have a really good schedule here coming up the last 3 weeks with Mississippi and Elwood on Friday. The next week we go to Lafayette as Lafayette Jeff hosts Marion, and then we'll end the season with either one of the 2 games between Oak Hill and Eastbrook or Mississippi and Madison Grant. I think it's going to be another good week, and look forward to recapping it all on Friday night.
Really hard to believe that we are here at week 7, but the temperatures are going to make it feel more like week 1. So we've had great weather all fall long. Can't complain about that. And we see some really good football, and the conference races are coming into shape. So I'm excited for these last few weeks and see who comes out on top, especially in the CIC.
And I'll tell you what, Kevin, like you said about the weather, we are due. It's not going to be this week, but we are due here in the next 3 or 4 weeks for just the most miserable weather that you've ever sat in.
I can't wait for some snow, man. I love football in the snow.
Yeah, that's fun to watch for sure.
I don't ever need snow. Friday night will be ideal football weather. High of 72 during the day, low of 47 at night. So it'll be just perfect fall football weather.
Thanks, Kevin, for joining us as our special guest. I hope you come back again next week. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Make sure you tune in for the Colts Report, which we released earlier today, and we're about to record right now.
Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.